The May stats are in, so let's get started. We are going to start with Sarasota. To be statistically significant, the chart shows the past 14 months of activity. The light green bars show the number of properties currently for sale, and you can see from April to May there was a slight decrease, but we are still over 3,000 properties for sale. To put this in context, let's go back 15 years to 2010. You can see there were about 3,800 properties for sale, which is the highest number during that 15-year period. We currently have the second most properties for sale during that time frame. Going back to the 14-month chart, you can see the dark green bars, which are the number of sold properties, and the red line, which are the number of properties that went under contract, and it's been pretty stable since February. This shows us that buyers are buying, but there are more sellers selling. So you probably aren't surprised to see that Sarasota is in a buyer's market, but you might be shocked to see it's really close to a neutral market, which doesn't favor a buyer or a seller. That is because buyers are indeed buying. The market is not stagnant. Let's keep diving in. It's taking about 70 days for a property to go under contract, and that number has been pretty stable for the past 14 months. What the high number of properties for sale has impacted the most is price. You can see the median price is $460,000, which is down 13% from last March. And sellers who are successfully selling their property sold for 88% of their original asking price, which includes any price reductions and negotiations. It tells us that sellers are consistently selecting an asking price that is simply too high. As you know, real estate is hyper-local, so let's look at some other areas. Anna Maria has 11 months of inventory. Lombo Key is 9 months. Lido has 83 months, but that's because nothing sold in May and kind of skewed the number. Siesta Key has 15.6 months, and Bird Key has 6.3 months of inventory. So in a nutshell, our barrier islands are experiencing buyer markets in varying degrees. Now let's go inland about 9 miles to Lakewood Ranch. For resale properties, there's a 5.6 months of inventory, which is a neutral market. And for new construction, it's about 2.1 months of inventory, which is the only seller's market in this area, which is most likely due to pricing. This graph shows the average pricing for resale versus new construction in Lakewood Ranch. You can see that builders are pricing their property 24% less than sellers are pricing their homes. This does not include any buyer incentives. Add to pricing, new construction is built to the latest codes, and buyers can select colors and finishes. Since many people in this area buy pre-retirement or are flexible with a move-in date, new construction is a no-brainer for many buyers. When you hear information on the news about Florida real estate, keep in mind that those are the broad strokes. To really know what's going on, you need to drill down into the numbers, whether it's for an area, a zip code, or even a community. It's really important if you're a buyer or a seller to know market conditions before you're making or accepting an offer. And if you ever want me to run the numbers for you for a specific area, I'd be happy to do so. So there you have it. Have a great Friday and even better weekend.